once after a recording session, Catherine said to me, you were born to do this.
All right, in this video, we've got Micabraham back on the channel. He's a friend of the channel. We met about a year ago at IBMA, the first one in Chattanooga. We were just chatting before the podcast started filming that we met at the bar at IBMA. And at that point, you started talking about this project you were working on. Mickey, why don't you tell us about what you were working on and what you mentioned that evening?
Cody, what's up, man? It's an honor to be back on your channel. And I do remember taking out my phone and being, hey man, check out this project I haven't even released yet. And I shared with you some artwork from the folk opera and told you I recorded it before my girlfriend and bandmate passed away, and that I still get to unveil this magnum opus to the world. And it just came out just a few weeks ago, and I'm really glad I get to share it with your audience, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the interviews and the commentary and things and your Facebook posts about the album. I've listened to it. I listened to it in its entirety last night, and when it first was released and I went to download it, this isn't your average album, which is usually like, 8 to 15 tracks long. This is a massive project that took years and years of your life. This was a big thing. So when did it all start?
The first time that Catherine and I ever used the words folk and opera in that order, almost in jest, when we didn't even know it would be a real project, was 10 years ago at this point. Probably in the 2016 era, we thought to ourselves, why don't we make an entire concept album, a folk opera, almost inspired by the term rock opera, like The Who's Tommy or Pink Floyd The Wall. But this would be a folk opera, very similar but acoustic minded.
The record sounds amazing for folks at home wondering about it.
That was really important to me. To sell the idea of this, I knew it had to be really powerful and really pristine.
Having the idea and then creating the art are very, very different things. This isn't an EP. This isn't a couple songs in the studio. What was the drive to make you get up every day and keep going at it? Because it's not easy to do.
It wasn't easy to do. Our bass player died of brain cancer right when we started demoing it. That affected Catherine greatly. Her mother also passed away during the recording. The folk opera was like the only thing that kept her going. There was no doubt in our mind it was going to change our lives, and that it was going to change people's lives who heard it. Our goal was to make something great.
Understanding and having context into the story with Catherine. Lyrically speaking, it was eerie to me to know that this was mostly written before the diagnosis.
The fictional character that we wrote about, that's loosely based on Catherine's life, does not make it to the end of the folk opera. This was all written before Catherine knew her own fate. While our life on Earth is temporary, the art that we give the world lives on after us. Right before she finished the recording, she got the news that she was dying. Life imitating art in the most tragic, real way.
For those listening at home, highly recommend taking the journey and then putting it on and listening to it front to back. Mickey, tell us about the release party that happened down in Tallahassee. Talk about the couple weeks leading up to that party. This is years worth of work, and you've been through it all. And to finally have that date on the calendar and to sell tickets and see folks RSVPing and then showing up and being part of that, celebratory listen. Can you talk about that and just that whole experience?
That is an incredible question, Cody. It was surreal. Getting the date on the calendar, friends helped me do it. It was a massive undertaking. Without Catherine here, it was really hard. It's getting a little easier now that I've gotten such great positive feedback. I have not had strangers listen to the whole thing beginning to end. No one has any idea what to expect. Maybe they don't like the sound effects. Maybe they don't understand that there's other singers. Maybe they're not ready that Catherine doesn't sing until 17 minutes into it. Maybe they're not going to like it. Maybe they're not going to follow the storyline. The ongoing doubt was there. I knew I wouldn't be able to talk to the audience that was there. We had 250 people sitting in a room listening to the album, like old school, man. We're talking like just people sitting in the chairs, just like listening. I let the other singers and other people that worked on the album talk to the audience about some of the themes and their roles in working with Catherine, because I couldn't do it. I didn't hear one note that was played. I was so worried the whole night that something was going to go wrong. I kept seeing if someone get up and go to the bathroom, and I'm like, Philip Parker's going to the bathroom during the best part. He's going to miss, something like that.
What would you tell folks at home that might be on the fence, whether it be starting an album like you did, or maybe, a different direction, or starting a YouTube channel? Or we have fears as musicians, as folks that releases art into the world. What would you tell folks that want to start something like this?
I don't think many people could do this. I feel in the musical world that Catherine and I had a very unique gift to do this. It's not about playing hot solos. It's not about playing hot licks. It's not about playing fast, flashy notes. There's people that do that way better than me. Once after a recording session, Catherine said to me, you were born to do this.
Where can folks listen to the album at?
I knew that this deserved a physical copy. Vinyl is back. It's the way to do it. So we do have the vinyl. It'll be on the screen right now. The beautiful vinyl version. It's a triple trifold, as stunning artwork as it is the music. The music is available on Bandcamp. It's a pretty popular, cool site that I personally did not have much experience with before releasing the folk opera. The vinyl comes with the digital version because I recognize people don't have a record player. It's more of a physical souvenir than anything else. I'm not really streaming it just yet because I'm trying to sell them, and I don't want it to be too easy to find, at least for right now.
What are the future plans?
There are so many possibilities with this album. I'm not opposed to any of them, and I know it's one person away from becoming a Broadway play or a movie. I have really no exact direction to take with it except trying to have people listen to it. And with every text and every email and social media posts that I get about it, I think that maybe this is what I'm getting from it. It's just that people are calling me and texting me and telling me I couldn't make it through Act 1 because I was crying. The replies I'm getting are really great, and that's great for now. I know that there's nothing like it. I know it'll completely blow people's minds, and that's all I've got right now, man.
That must be a good feeling to know that she's being remembered.
If only everyone could leave a legacy like she did with this album. You can't really ask for much more than that. The story begins with the main character. She's not even born yet. Her parents that are the main characters of the first few songs. Her father's at war. There's a war theme. The dad comes home from war. The main character is then born. The song Little One that you're referring to is her listening to the voice of her deceased grandmother.
One of the voices.
One of the voices singing to her, letting her know that when things get rough, I will look after you. In the song Slow Down the Day, it's almost like a mini folk opera onto itself, in that we're introduced to a character, and the same in a character also passes away in that song. It's the mother looking at her daughter, who's the main character, growing up very fast, almost like a sunrise, sunset type of vibe, where it's the mother looking at her daughter just growing up very fast and wondering where the time is going. In the middle of the song, she gets a call that her mother is passing away. And
in the hospital, yeah.
Exactly, we get the scene that she goes to the hospital. We then get to the news broadcast, where it's foreshadowing that there are these revolutionists that are targeting military families. So the only people that we know that her parents are military. The dad just came home from the war, So by the end of Act 1, they have found her parents' house. They kill her parents. They destroy her house. Somehow the parents knew this day was coming. They predicted it because they had a car with money and gas and her guitar already packed.
Yeah.
She's a songwriter. Our main character is a songwriter in the story. So her guitar is in the car. As the house is being attacked by these revolutionists, the parents tell her, go now. So at the end of Act 1, her parents are gone. Her house is destroyed. She can no longer hear the voices that have been guiding her since birth. She has nothing. She leaves home and drives away to some undisclosed location. In Act 2, she ends up at a little open mic. These people that she becomes friends with, they end up being the people that killed her parents. They are the revolutionists. They're explaining to her that, we're fighting the revolution, man, But they might not be doing it to the best of what she thinks is the right way. When we get to the third news broadcast, we are foreshadowing public executions. All right, kind of see where this is going. So when the side that her parents are on come to find the hideout of the revolutionists have already left. They leave her there in the house. She gets blamed for killing her own parents and gets arrested. She then gets sentenced to public execution. There is a character named the Guard who ends up trying to save her. He fought on the side with her dad during the war, and when the revolution killed his family, he took it upon himself to look after our main character. Well, the guard character has this last plan that might help save her life, and he explains it to her as she's sitting in jail. He says that, I'm not sure if I can save your life. At this point, they're probably going to kill you. But I have your guitar. I skipped the part that when they raid the house, the guard was there, and there's even a line there when they're like, what are you doing, man? We gotta get out of here. And he's like, I'm gonna stick around and look for evidence, or something like that. And what he's really doing is actually grabbing her guitar, because he knew that that was an important thing to have, for whatever reason. And as they take her out to be publicly executed, the guard says, I'm gonna slip you your guitar, and you can sing a song. Maybe she sings a song, and it's so good that, the girl, like, hey, we're not going to kill you anymore. That was freaking badass, man. You're free. Maybe that, we don't really actually hear her get killed or something. It's more like the song is the last thing. But I think that that's not the case. I believe that she was killed, but it doesn't matter, because she got to sing the song that will make the world a better place.
And she did. That's incredible to go through this project, have the character go through what they did, and then see sort of how the art's almost reflected back in real life, man. That's why I wanted to do this.
I thank you and appreciate you letting me get this in front of your peeps. It means a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Any final words, Mickey?
I'd love for you guys to listen to it yourselves and let me know what you think.
Well, I'm going to keep an eye out for everything that you do with it in the future, and how it goes and fares and everything else. So get a copy down below at Bandcamp, and we'll put all of Mickey's links down there as well. Mickey, thanks for doing this, man. Great story and great album. All right, Mickey, we'll see you next time.
Peace, brother.
Bye-bye.
I believe I can see the light. I believe in something more than wrong and right. And as you fight this war, whoever's keeping score should remember only love can go. In the moment of your greatest